Hey Splat Gang, Nintendo has shared all of the patch notes for the upcoming 2.0 update, and there is a lot to dig into with these patch notes. So, as usual, I'm going to make a video going over everything that's in these patch notes, including all the new features, bug notes, and more. This is a big update, so bear with me. It's going to take a little bit of time to read through all of these, but I hope you'll have fun checking out and learning about all of this as I do too. Nintendo says on November 30th at 4 PM PST, data relating to the Chill Season 2022 will be added to the game. This includes a new catalog, and with it new gear, titles, splash tags, decorations, stickers, and emotes there within. About 50 new items added to store product lineup, so a lot to collect for you collectors out there. 2 new battle stages, Brinewater Springs and Flounder Heights. A new Salmon Run stage, Marooner's Bay. 3 new main weapon types. 10 new sets of existing main weapons paired with different sub and special weapons. 13 new table turf battle cards. The ability to look at your catalog has been added. Players can check out their catalogs by opening the main menu of the X button, going to the status tab, then selecting catalog. There are lots of changes and adjustments as well, for example, changes to multiplayer. Specifications for some main weapons have changed. Tri-Stringer. The size of terrain area inked by falling spray has been increased. The number of spray droplets generated when firing a distantly aimed shot has been increased. And then the Splatana Wiper. The width of the ink launched by horizontal slashes has been increased by about 27%. The size of the terrain area inked by falling spray has been increased, and it is easier to connect ink in an interrupted straight line. Specifications for some sub-weapons have changed. Angle Shooter. Initial velocity is about 20% faster, and flight range has been extended. Specifications for some special weapons have changed. Zipcaster. Ink consumption when using the main weapon while the Zipcaster is active has been decreased to about 67% of previous. Ink Vac. Damage of the return shot has been increased from 120% to 220%. This change is intended to increase the damage done to Big Bubbler and Rainmaker shields, and to allow players to defeat opponents armored due to Squid Roll or Squid Surge. Reef Slider. Damage from the rush attack and from being caught up in the explosion at a short range has been increased from 180 to 220. This change is intended to increase the damage done to Big Bubbler and Rainmaker shields, and to allow players to defeat opponents armored due to Squid Roll or Squid Surge. Tenta Missiles. After launch is confirmed, the special gauge will now slowly decrease, and the special gauge will not be able to begin charging again until the gauge has completely drained from the previous use. So definitely some really important weapon adjustments here. I'd love to know what you think about these down in the comment section. These are always huge discussion points amongst the community, and I'm personally actually quite happy about the Reef Slider changes. I think they were much needed. This is my favorite special, and I'm really glad to see some adjustments to improve it slightly. Now, I'm just going to leave these up here on screen so you can see all of them. I feel like it'd be a bit redundant for me just to read through every number and such. But yes, you can see there are definitely some pretty noticeable adjustments here. Nothing too big in terms of numbers, but some of these weapons are incredibly popular, and once again, I'd love to know what you think about these particular changes, if you use any of these weapons or if you've had any problems with them previously. The terrain of some stages has been changed. Undertow Spillway. Changed some parts of the turf or mode terrain. Deleted part of the terrain on the left hand side when looking from the player start areas. Added ramps to allow for invading opponent areas. This is really interesting to me that they've made these changes, particularly to Undertow Spillway. I wouldn't have really thought about this myself, but having the ramps could actually be really useful. I do feel like sometimes there wasn't as much accessibility in this stage as there could have been, so this is pretty good in my opinion. The sound effect when hitting an opponent with a charge's non-piercing shot is now easier to hear. The sound effects when the Splat Bomb, Torpedo, or Fizzy Bomb roll on the ground are now easier to hear. The direct hit sound effects for when an angle shooter hits an opponent and when it hits another physical object are now different. The angle shooter's direct hit sound effect is now easier to hear from a distance. The sound effect when wielding the Trizooka is now harder for allies to hear and easier for opponents to hear. The sound effect for when an opponent is charging a Booyah Bomb is now easier to hear. The flight and impact sound effects for a Booyah Bomb thrown by an opponent are now easier to hear. Lots of sound changes, so they're really taking notice of all the little things that players could think about within this particular update that they might want to see adjusted. Changes to X Battles. So they've already got changes to X Battle even though it's just arrived. I think this is basically just explaining how it works more than actual changes. But yes, X Battle, a new battle mode, has been added. X Battle is a battle mode where players of ranks S+0 and up can compete in a battle for X power. X power is calculated separately for each battle mode like Splat zones or tower control. Players battle until reaching 3 wins or 3 losses, whereupon X power is gained or lost based on the results. The world is divided into 2 divisions in which X battles are held to compete for the highest X power. Takaroka Division, comprising Japan, Hong Kong, South Korea, Australia and New Zealand, and Tentatech Division, comprising the Americas and Europe. The division a player is affiliated with is determined the first time they play in an X battle each season. Once this is determined, the division cannot be changed during that season. X battles will become available to play on November 30th at the same time as the Chill Season 2022 begins. So this is a feature that a lot of people have been looking forward to. It's not quite as exciting as League Battle in my opinion, but still, getting a new battle mode is definitely a positive update. And yes, I'm glad that they finally explained some things that maybe some people were wondering about. A lot of this information was already out there before this, but it's good to have it all in one place. Changes to Ranked. Added a feature allowing players to purposely reset their rank. This feature can only be used once per season by players of rank B or higher. What rank a player is reset to is determined automatically by their estimated ability based on their battles up to that point. Players can use this feature by opening up the lobby menu, moving their cursors to Anarchy Battle and pressing the ZL button. That is really interesting to me. There could be some analysis about why Nintendo wanted to do this and what benefits it could have or what negatives it might have as a whole video by itself, and I'm not going to get into that here, but once again, I would love to know what people think down in the comments. We have such interesting discussions on these update patch notes, and there's definitely a lot of stuff here that I feel like people are going to have interesting thoughts about. Some values of the initial cost in rank points spent to enter an Anarchy battle have increased. So you can see all the numbers here. Once again, I'm not going to go through all of them individually, but you can pause the video if you would like to see these all for yourself, although I've had them on screen now for quite a while anyways. Changes to Salmon Run. Data relating to the Big Run event has been added. Big Run is a phenomenon where mass numbers of salmonids swim upstream once every few months. While a Big Run is happening, Salmon Run will be held specially on regular battle stages. When the Big Run has ended, different decorations will be awarded to players based on the Big Run results. This will be calculated based on the highest number of golden eggs collected in a single work shift across the entire player base. That last thing is really interesting to me, and I'm not 100% sure how I feel about that so far. The decorations they mention, I'm interested about that too. I kind of hope we get more than just some of the decorations that are related to Salmon Run. I mean, they could be really cool, but I'd like to get something that could actually be beneficial in the other modes as well, especially the Salmon Run scales, which I guess that isn't really beneficial in the other modes, but they're still really useful, and I would like to get more of them, honestly. Added a feature to save and replay job scenarios. A job scenario is the collected overall data comprising elements of a single job shift like stage, weapon array, appearing salmonids, and special events. Players can save job scenarios from the recent job screen at the Grisco terminal. Players can reproduce the scenario and attempt it as many times they like by creating a private job room, then pressing the ZL button to select a scenario. Job scenarios can be shared with other players via a code issued when the scenario is saved. Note, by entering a code at the Grisco terminal, you can also download and save other players' scenarios. When a new update is released, job scenarios from previous versions may become unable to be used. So that's really interesting to me. This feature was actually data mined by Oatmeal Dome before we learned about it here. So yes, we already had a good idea that this might be coming, but it's good that it's been confirmed, and I think a lot of people are going to find this feature very useful. The conditions for using the reset rank feature have been changed to being above Go-Getter 40. When a player with a rank higher than Executive VP 100 uses the reset rank feature, they are not reset all at once to rank value 40. They'll be reset in stages of 100 points at a time. When the stage changes, rank will be reset to Executive VP 40 as it has been before now. Some boss Salmonid abilities have been changed. Big Shot. So Big Shot is getting some changes here, which is really interesting. Not Flyfish for some reason. I would have really liked it if Flyfish had gotten some adjustments, but no, Big Shot apparently. Movement speed is now 30% slower than before. Were these guys really that fast before? Maybe. I don't really feel like they were, but hey, making them slower will make them a little bit easier to kill before they go back into the water, I guess, so that's good. In addition to lowering the Big Shot's attack frequency, this also lengthens the amount of time it spends walking on land, increasing the player's window of opportunity to attack. The animation played as the big shot comes flying in will be shown for longer than before, making it easy to determine where the shot was fired from. So honestly, I don't know how I feel about these changes. I mean, it's good when they make bosses slightly more fair, but I never really felt like the big shots were that much of an issue in Salmon Run before, certainly not as much as some others like the fly fish for example, which so many fans have complained about. I'm not a huge fan of making bosses too easy. I wouldn't really say these changes to big shot have made it too easy, but I don't know, I didn't really have any problems with it before. I'm sure there are people who will completely disagree with me and say, yeah, these were definitely needed, and, you know, I'm not against them as such. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I would have reserved some more changes for other bosses rather than just big shot. The performance of some special weapons has been changed. Killer Whale 5.1, increase the precision in which it tracks boss Salmonids. Damage dealt increased by about 25%. Triple Ink Strike, the guide devices will now trigger when touched by a Salmonid. Damage dealt increased by about 25%. Inkjet, player will no longer be a target for most Salmonid attacks when returning to their position after the use period has ended. Booyah Bomb, player will no longer be a target for most Salmonid attacks while charging up the Booyah Bomb. Definitely good changes to these specials though, I'm really happy about a lot of these. I feel like it's just made them even more useful and effective, which is great. Nothing absolutely crazy in here in my opinion, although the last one I had a lot of problems with, so that's probably the biggest one for me. But still, all really good changes, I think. I like that a lot. The number of boss Salmonids that can appear at once has been capped at 15. When defeating boss Salmonids at a regular pace, even at high hazard levels, players will not reach this limit. This change was made because, in cases where players are chased down by bosses they cannot splat, the appearance of too many bosses can slow the game down and make it more difficult than necessary to get things back under control. Changes to Splatfest. Tricolor battles have been modified so that all players can play on the attacking or defending team regardless of halftime results. That is a great change. Players can join by themselves or in a pair of a friend. When playing by themselves, they'll be paired with another solo player, same as before. A group of 8 will be created from 4 pairs, and a 2 vs 4 vs 2 tricolor battle will commence. Players do not know whether they'll be on an attacking team or the defending team until the battle begins. Players have a 50-50 chance of being on an attacking team or the defending team, regardless of their Splatfest team affiliation. Depending on population ratios of Splatfest teams, there may be tricolor battles where all 8 players are on the same Splatfest team. In these cases, clout will not be calculated. So yes, it seems a lot fairer now for the defending team. It usually ends up being big man for some reason. I guess that's just how it's been. I'll be really interested in seeing what the theme is for this next Splatfest, because it was a bit of a shock result for a lot of people with the Pokemon one, so I'm wondering if we're going to get even more surprises, especially with all these changes as well. Clout earned in tricolor battles will now be calculated in the final results, and the points awarded for each category have been adjusted. Part of the way clout is calculated for tricolor battles has changed. Increase the victory bonus for the defending team. Part of the way clout is calculated for tricolor battles has changed. Increase the victory bonus for the defending team. When the team in first place at halftime is the defending team and the attacking teams are from the second or third place teams, 1.5 times more clout will be awarded for a victory. When you win a 10 times, 100 times, or 333 times battle, it will be shown at your pledge box. After winning 100 times or 333 battle, you can board your team's float from the pledge box to take commemorative pictures. So definitely some good little changes to Splatfest here. I do feel like this tricolor change has made it a lot fairer. Is it perfect? Maybe not. Could they make more adjustments? I'm sure they will. But I'm actually quite happy with this so far, and I'm really interested in seeing what the next Splatfest will be. If we even get one, if Big Run is going to end up taking over for December, who knows, maybe we'll get both, or maybe we will just get Big Run. I'll be really interested in seeing how they do that. Changes to lockers. T-shirt gear items can now be folded for storage by pressing the L stick whilst placing the shirt. When pressing B to cancel placement, the locker will now return to the immediate previous state before you grabbed anything. Nice. 2 good little changes to lockers that we basically knew about the first one anyways because they advertised it on Twitter, but that's cool, I like that. Other changes, players can now enter photo mode from recon mode. Players can use photo mode not only by themselves, but also when entering recon mode with multiple people, by the way, private battles. That is so good, that's really good. Another one that we knew about before thanks to data miners, but I'm really happy to see that one added in. When walking a stage in Recon by oneself, a player can call an amiibo to take pictures with. Added a feature to temporarily use a different player name than usual when playing private battles over the internet. The idea is, for one example, to be able to add a team name onto one player's name only in private battles. When creating or joining a group for private battle, you can temporarily set a different name by pressing the L button. The song title and artist of the background music will now be shown at the beginning of battle. In the equip screen, when a player has lots of weapons or gear, it will now be clear what page of items is being shown. In the equip screen, when sorting by gear ability, abilities that do not exist on the items being sorted will no longer appear as sorting options. Added a feature for listening again to Sheldon's weapon explanations in Ammo Nights. Players can use this feature by putting their cursor over the weapon they want to hear the explanation for and pressing the ZR button. Might this be the least used feature in all of Splatoon? I feel like yes, it's going to be. I'm sorry, Sheldon. I love you, but I'm not going to be using this feature. Added a badge related to using the shellout machine. Previous use up to this point is counted towards badge progress. This is a good one. I like badges. I feel like I should have this by now because I've used this machine so much. And they have some little notes at the bottom as well. This update focuses on adding data and new features related to Chill Season 2022, adjustments to battles in Salmon Run, and changes to tricolor battles. For battles, besides an adjustment to reducing attack frequency for the battle style of repeatedly firing tentacle missiles from afar, we also focused on updates to increase some weapons' ease of use. For Salmon Run, in addition to lowering the big shot's attack frequency and giving players more chance to damage it by lowering its movement speed, we implemented changes to improve factors that made some special weapons difficult to use. For Splatfest, as announced in the previous update, we made significant changes to the tricolor battle mode. In addition to this are various added features and improvements, and large and small bug fixes. Our next update is planned in the middle of Chill Season 2022 and should focus on balance adjustments upon analysis of data from newly added weapons. I have a feeling that since this is such a huge update, we're probably going to see one before this. That's when they plan it, of course, but I'm sure there are going to be bugs within this update, even though they've fixed so many. And speaking of bug fixes, I think I'm going to save that for a separate video. The thing is, this video has already gotten so long, and I feel like it'd just be more organized if I made one dedicated purely to the bug fixes, because I didn't realize there would be so many changes. I mean, it was kind of to be expected with such a massive update, but still, I'll save that for another video, so keep an eye out for that. And I hope you enjoyed this one. This is such an exciting update, and I hope you're all as excited for it as I am. If you are, leave a comment down below letting me know your thoughts and what your favorite changes and new features are. I'd love to hear. If you made it to the end, be sure to comment Splat Gang down below so I know you did. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on channel notifications for more.